Hello again, everyone. Deflect here, Firm but Fair Gaming. I'm going to bring a new video. Everyone saw the buffs and nerfs that went through this week on May 6th. This was posted earlier. A ton of people covered it. It's just the blue post of classes, unholy DK nerfs, a bunch of other buffs for DH and some. But I wanted to go in one in particular, Evoker. Now, this is the third round of Evoker buffs. And, some of the other ones were nice. And you haven't really seen an Evoker in any top keys, really. So if you go to Mythic Plus, it's really just sitting with Druid, Unholy DK, and Arcane Mage right now. They're just running rampant. And then Ellesmere's crushing it on Holy Paladin. But a lot of Disc Priest. So occasionally you sprinkle in a Enhanced Shaman or a different Shaman. But that's pretty much what's been running the top. Even a couple Rets made it. Oh, and a Marksman. But so the DPS is kind of not set like it always is with Evoker until the last buffs. Now, are people going to catch on quick enough to this with the 15% all spells and abilities increase? Which is really interesting because if you go to the Evoker itself, and this is one of their big ones, Ebonmight's huge, Upheaval's huge, giving the prescience was really big, giving people buffs. So you're a buffing class, but you used to not do as much damage as other people, and that's why you're just more for survivability. They stopped so you can't buff tanks and healers. That helped a little, but now it's the buffs after the third round have made it so Og is doing some nuts things. What they were saying was the end of the class tuning, it was going to be actually a 5% buff to single target and a 6% buff to AoE. I'm not sure how they came up with that with all spells and abilities by 15. I'm not sure how they got 5 and 6. That, unless they're not counting Ebonmight, which doesn't make sense because that's an ability you have. So I think they just missed on that when they put out their estimated change. The biggest one was the Unholy DK going down 4% in AoE, which I think it's actually a little more than that. But that's what they have. But going in, I was looking at some of the top Evokers, some of the logs in here. Mythic Plus Season 2. Lizzie McGuire. I'll get into this part after. It's pretty interesting. Lizzie McGuire is one of the best Evokers out there. They've been playing slash Evoker since it came out. They're really, really good. And this was run yesterday, so May 7th, or at least posted yesterday. And you can see they're climbing pretty quick on the Enhanced Shaman. So the PI person right here, I'm going to bet is going to be the DK. But they are climbing very close to Enhanced Shaman. And they bring all the defensive capabilities. So this might put them back in contention in the meta group again. If you weren't sick of seeing them before, you might get sick now. I don't think Blizzard knows how to balance this class. Because they shouldn't be very close to other DPS, in my opinion, if you're bringing all the defensives and the buffing. Going on, and this was an 18 mother load from Lizzie McGuire. Another one I found was Shoe Dragon. This is a 19 mother load. And they're drastically lower item level. They're, 10 item level below the Enhanced Shaman, 9 below the Balanced Druid, but the Enhanced Shaman's getting, PI. That's like the best Enhanced Shaman out there. They're actually tremendous. They've been like the top since I've seen them on Shadowlands, I believe, the last time. Or the first time I saw them was Shadowlands. So they're just an incredible Enhanced Shaman. But they are getting dangerously close to beating other classes in DPS. And this is a S tier spec. You got to remember this. This is not just any other off the wall spec like Shadow Priest. Okay, I'll just use that as an example. Shadow Priest would be below the Evoker in damage in that case. And you can look at the damage breakdown because DPS, if you go to here, they give you a rough breakdown. And it says it's only 2.71, but that's just from logs they've seen and compared. The difference in this I found interesting because these are two keys, both mother loads. One was in 19, one was in 18. One was by Lizzie McGuire, one was by Shoe Dragon. And if you look at their damage profile, they're drastically different. Lizzie McGuire's is still Eruption and up, and then Upheaval, Evil, and then the other one is upheaval and ebb and might. So it's pretty crazy. A 30% upheaval damage and then 15 ebb and might. And Lizzie McGuire's was 23 eruption, then 20% upheaval, and then breath of eon. So ebb and might's way down here for Lizzie McGuire, 45 casts versus 51 casts of ebb and might, and it was crushing at 1.17 billion damage, where Lizzie McGuire's is like almost like just over, wow, it's about 60% of it. So interesting enough. What would be a difference, you could say? I don't know if this is going to make all the difference, but you can look at the talents and what they're running, and Lizzie McGuire is running Scale Commander, whereas Shoe Dragon is running Chrono Warden. So Chrono Warden looks like it's the better play for damage. I think all these ads would go away, it'd be easier to see. But every time you click on something, you get another ad on this site, which is really great. But that's the only thing I changed. Like if you look, there's one minor talent up here, but that's it. Like it's just adding the healing effect and taking away the enhance or essence regen. So that's it. The whole Aug tree stays the same, doesn't move. Which is very interesting. So that's the big difference in the hero talents. That is a lot different damage in Chrono Warden versus the other ones. Is this going to make it meta again? It very well could. When they're that close in DPS, you usually always take an Aug, and that is strictly because of the defensive prowess and the buffing, the verse, and everything they give to other players. So if that is going to be the case, be prepared to see Aug again. And be prepared to see Aug in the S tier right away. They will jump up there if people catch on to this. As unfortunate it is, I was pretty tired of seeing them. But this is 663 item level and doing what a 674 Boomkin is doing. Like they're within 500. They're 12% DPS less at 11 item level less. Like it's just insane. So again, Blizzard might have buffed them too much. And watch out for the Aug Evokers. So that's my prediction. Keep an eye on it. If you weren't sick of them before, you might be now. Anyways, let me know in the comments if you play Aug or if you want to see Aug again. But I think it's going to happen. So Deflect for Fair Gaming. We'll see you in the next video.